Like many of us who love model railroading, I first got interested when I was about 1/9 my current age. I got started with a Lionel 4x8 layout with a freight siding. Then adolescence got in the way, and the hobby went quiet until about 30 years later, when my son Michael and I and my wife Cheryl went up to Chattanooga for Christmas one year and saw that wonderful HO layout up there. Matt was thrilled and spent some of his Christmas money to come back and start his own layout. It lasted about 6 months before he got interested in something else, not bad for a 5-year-old. And then it quickly became Dad's layout and has remained that way for 4 houses and another 32 years. The move to our current home about 12 years ago provided another opportunity for me to redesign the layout and incorporate things I'd learned since the last move. That included shifting to L-girder construction, adding Digitrax SEHC boards to help manage about 100 turnouts. I'm still using my original Digitrax DB150 command station that I bought many years ago. In the years since, I've added infrared, radio, and Wi-Fi options for the throttles. With the move, I also relocated the layout geographically from the B&O territory up to New England. I grew up just west of Boston in Newton, Massachusetts, right next to the Boston and Albany train station there in West Newton. The layout has slowly expanded into 4 areas. I run a double-track main line that has a lower and upper level, plus a short middle section, for a total length of about 300 feet. A full lower and upper loop run takes about 7 minutes. The main room is 12.5 by 28. From there it goes through a wall on one end of the room to an area about 5 by 5 at the bottom of the stairs. Perfect for a harbor scene. Going through that wall to the other side of the harbor brings you to one of 2 helixes. At the other end of the main room, the layout also goes through the wall to access a staging yard, a second helix, a coal mine, and a limestone quarry that I just began building this summer. The layout, which targets the late 1950s, goes through several cities, starting with Boston as the hub. The Alston Freight Yard lies just west of Boston. Heading west brings you to West Newton before the tracks disappear through the wall, heading towards the South Helix. If you leave the yard headed north, you go up into New Hampshire and through Portsmouth en route to the Rigby Freight Yard in Portland, Maine. I didn't want a helix in the main train room, so I acquired land rights a little farther north for the harbor scene and the North Helix. By definition, the space inside a helix is a challenge to utilize. My brother came up with the idea of adding a ski slope, which actually does have an access hole, one of 5 across the layout. And I converted a South River Model Works kit into a hotel that sits atop the ski lift. The helix lets you loop back past the Rigby Freight Yard, or you can climb the helix and head back south that way. There's another train station at Nashua, New Hampshire. Then the tracks head over a 30-inch long double-track trestle bridge that my dad helped me build when he was 84. The waterfall and fall scenery on the slopes were the creation of a longtime friend and colleague, David Yeager. My favorite building, my first South River Model Works kit, comes next before you get to Lowell, where Carker Lumber, an FOS model, and the Sales Mill, another South River Model Works model, are the highlights. From there, the tracks head over the bridge into Boston before heading to the South Helix. Utilizing the space under and behind the stairs was a bit of a challenge. The space under the stairs became a staging yard, which provides critical runaround track for the yard switchers that are bringing hoppers in and out of the coal mine and the quarry. If you head west out of the Alston Freight Yard, you have the option of going up one level of the southern helix to get to Lawrence, Mass. That area will provide plenty of possibilities when I resume operating sessions, as there are 5 sidings on one side of the mainline tracks and 7 on the other. The addition of a runaround track really helped when I reworked that section. On the northern end of Lawrence, the line descends to the lower level, coming out at Portsmouth. Back in Alston, the yard went through several months of design work, plus an article eventually in the LD SIG journal, before I settled on what you see here. It has 3 arrival and departure tracks, 6 classification tracks, and 2 runaround tracks, as well as tracks for repair work, caboose storage, the ice house, the ash dump, a coaling tower, plus, of course, the roundhouse and the engine shed. Thanks for coming.